So along with playing just time and playing left hand comping out of the Ted Reed book, it's also a really crafty way of moving from tom to tom. And I'm going to take that number one. I'm going to play hand to hand. Now remember, we are interpreting these as jazz eighth notes, so they have a triplet bass rhythmically. And if I play number one, I'm going to play all the notes that fall on the right hand, on the floor tom, any of the notes in the melody that fall on the left hand, that will be on the small tom. So if I break down number one very slowly, remember, it's really important to understand the value of downstrokes, upstrokes, and tap strokes to really build up your playing. Let me just identify, just if we played the quarter notes on the toms and all the triplets would be on the snare drum, and let me just chart out what I'm doing. Down, up, tap, down, up, tap, down, up, tap, down, up, tap, down. If I played an upbeat on the toms in the melody, I would play a up, tap, down, up, tap, down. So let's hear it with bass drum so that we can really differentiate between the two. Here we are, a 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's with the melody note being on a downbeat, and now on the upbeat, 3, 4, and so that takes a really little practice to get some of those going. I have a few warm-ups that I'll utilize for my students to just sort of generate some understanding. That being said, let's go back to number one, and you'll see that there will be some up tap downs and down tap ups. Down up taps, something like that. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's a nice way to start charting down. When you get to one, like for example, I'll play number 13 from page 35, because that's a lot of eighth notes. That's the most eighth notes in the section of syncopation, in that section from 34 to 45, those pages. And that is 1, 3, 4, so you're going to be really bouncing around in the toms, and you got to get up off the snare drum to really make it effective and move smoothly. So here that is. 1, 2, 3. Kind of bouncy, but again, really helpful to get around the set so you can really start to clarify some hand-to-hand exercises. When starting these exercises, it's really truly imperative that everybody put the brakes on the tempo and start nice and slow so you can really acclimate to the idea of moving through space. When you really tap into how that feels, you can start to calibrate space in a new way. In other words, time and space are relative. When you play faster and you've really worked on the calibrating of that, you will see space larger when you're playing faster. But in order to get there, patience is so important. I can't stress that enough with my students, and they all know it. I am very much about putting metronome markings on it, and I have students that are in their 60s, so they got to adhere to that. So, but my point being is that when you do something slow and very calculated, you will get a larger result. Very, very important. So stand by that and use your metronomes or your polynomes or whatever you got out there to support that good adherence to tempo.